In this video, I'd like to go over some of the vocabulary we're going to use when we talk about polynomials to refer to specific parts of expressions or equations. Okay, so when we look at polynomial, poly means many, right? So polynomials consist of a bunch of expressions added together or subtracted from each other. Okay, so like for example here we have some examples. Here there's only one thing that's added or subtracted, and here there's two, right? But they're both polynomials because polynomials include any length of expression like this. Okay, and when we talk about different parts of the polynomial, usually we divide it by the things that are added together. So for example, here there's one thing that's added or subtracted together. We call that a term. Here there's two things that are added or subtracted together. Those are called terms. Okay, so here there's one term and here there's two terms, right? Here there's two terms. Inside one term you can see that there's things that are multiplied together, but there's nothing that's added or subtracted. Once you add or subtract, then you've created two terms instead of one. Okay, so that's our first vocabulary, which is the word term. The next vocabulary is degree. Degree is how many, or what's the exponent that you're taking the largest term to. And when I say the largest degree term, so like for example, here we just have one term, and we look at the variable in the term, and it's u. And if we look at its exponent, u doesn't have an exponent. Actually, that kind of means that u is to an exponent of 1, right? Because an exponent of 1 just means multiply u one time, which is what's happening here. So the degree here is 1. Here, the exponent is 2, so obviously the degree is 2. Even though there's another term here that the degree is 1, we always take the highest term, or the highest degree, to use as the degree for the polynomial. So for this polynomial, the degree is 2, even though there's this term here which has a degree of 1. Okay, so this polynomial's degree is 2. This polynomial is degree 3 because this is the highest order degree here. And here, even though there's a degree 4 here and a degree 1 here, we consider the polynomial to be degree 4 because that is the highest order term. Down here, you can see a really weird one here. It's got two different variables in it. The way you calculate the degree of this expression is you add together the exponents for everything that's multiplied together in terms of variables. So here there's 4 and 4, so we're going to say that the degree of this one is 8. Okay, so now we've talked about degree. Let's talk about monomial, binomial, and trinomial. Okay, a monomial just means that there's one term, so this is a monomial. A binomial means that there's two terms, so here's a binomial, here's a binomial, here's a binomial. And trinomial means that there's three terms, which this is a trinomial. It's got three groups of variables and numbers added or subtracted together. Okay? And of course, polynomial means all three. And you can have larger polynomials that have more than three terms, but you don't need to know the names of those. Okay? Finally, when we talk about the degree, another way we can talk about the degree of a polynomial is kind of a nickname. Cubic, linear, and quadratic. Okay, linear you're familiar with, right? Linear means it can be written as y equals mx plus b, like a line. Okay, so when you have a linear equation, you have a variable with an exponent of 1 or no exponent, multiply times a number, and maybe that number is 1. Okay, but basically a linear equation, so it has as the highest order term, it will have the variable to an exponent of 1. And maybe there might be something added to it that's just a number, like plus 5 or something like that, which is called the constant term. Okay? And so this will be linear. Quadratic would be the next order, which would be exponent of 2. Okay, we've done those, right, in the previous chapter. And so if you have a variable squared, and that's the highest order term, then that would be, or the highest degree term, that would be a quadratic polynomial. Okay? And finally, cubic. So cubic would be when you have the highest degree in the polynomial is 3. Okay? So that makes sense, right? When you take the cube of a variable, it is taken to the third power, so that's why it's cubic. Okay? For the fourth root, the fourth degree exponent, we call that quartic, but you don't need to know that term. Okay? So you just know linear, quadratic, and cubic. And that's what you need to know to do the next two axioms.